Welcome back. All right, we're going to continue now from where we stopped in the last video. And this time around, we want to learn how to format our document. So there are so many things you're going to be learning here, as some of them I've talked about them earlier. Well, we're still going to bring everything together this time around. You're going to be learning how to change your line spacing. You're going to learn how to insert special characters. You're going to learn how to change the size of your paper. You're going to learn how to change your margins. Okay, I talked about them earlier. And you're going to learn how to insert date and time to your document. You're going to learn how to insert date and time in your document. And I'm going to start by demonstrating how to change line spacing. All right, I'm still going to use this document, test document that I've created to, take us through this particular class. All right, so let's look at it. For you to change the line spacing, remember I told you that the first thing you're going to do is to select what you want to apply that particular effect to. I've said that earlier, that anytime you want to apply any formatting to any text on your document, the first thing you're going to do is to select that text. So, for instance, if I want to select this paragraph, look at the paragraph, I've selected it, and I want to check the line spacing. All I need to do is to go to Home. Okay, you go to Home tab, then you come to Paragraph Group, and you are going to come across our line and paragraph spacing. As you can see, this is it. And if you look at it very well, you see 1.0, which means one line spacing. Okay, that is a single spacing. So you see that those the lines of the paragraph are compacted together. So if I use 1.15, that is 1/4. So 1.5 is 1.5 line spacing. 2.0 is double line spacing. 2.5 is 2.5 line spacing. Then this is 3 line spacing. So you can have more depending on how you want it. If you go to line spacing options, there is going to bring out the other options that you can use to set up your spacing. If you remember, this paragraph dialog box was used earlier for indentation. So but this time around, we want to look at spacing, and look at the spacing here. Okay, so the current line spacing that is applied to this particular paragraph is 1.5. Can you see that? So you can increase it to whatever you want. As you can see, this is double, this at least, this exactly, this is multiple. So if you want multiple, you are going to select what you want. How do you want? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it? So it's your responsibility to choose what you want there. So if it says 3, look at the preview. Look at the way it is. If you decrease it, look at the way it's going to look. If you decrease it more, look at it. As you're decreasing it, they're coming together. This is 1. So you can keep increasing it until you are satisfied with the spacing. So nobody determines how you are to space your work. You are to determine that, or you structure it to the requirement for the document you're trying to prepare. Some documents, they will tell you that you should use 1.5 line spacing. Some they tell you to use double line spacing and the likes. So, but generally people use 1.15 line spacing or 1.5 line spacing. So that's what many people use, and I think that would be fine if you use that as well. So that's that about that. So I'm going to bring it back to 1.5, which I think is okay for me. Okay. So I think this is okay now. Now, there's another one, before and after. If you look at it, it's saying don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. So this is a paragraph. There's another paragraph under it, as you can see. So this paragraph that you're looking at here, if you put spacing after the paragraph, it's going to begin to increase the spacing. So let's say, for example, let's make it 12. Okay. So let's see how it looks now. So as you can see, there's a space here in between these two paragraphs. So let me select the paragraph again and let's go back. If I want to remove that space, I can remove it here. Can you see it? You see that there's no more space between the two. But I'm going to select it again and go back to that line spacing. Okay? You see that it has become 0. So let me try to increase it to, let's say, 18, and let's see the result. Can you see the gap now between them? If you look at it very well, you see that the gap between these two paragraphs is more than the gap between these two paragraphs because of the value we used. So that's how to space one paragraph from the other. So all you need to do is to select it, then go to your line spacing, okay, and you can reduce it to 6 and say okay. Okay, you can also take it back to 0. Okay, and say okay. So 0 means it's going to apply just the normal spacing that should be between the two paragraphs. But if you want it to increase, if you want this space to increase, this space you're looking at here, if you want it to increase, then you have to increase it here. You know, where you came to the other time, line spacing, you have to increase it here. So these are things that you need to understand. And that's that about line spacing. So you should feel free to, do it the way you want. So look at it, don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. So if you have two paragraphs that are having same style, once you select this, it will not add any space between the two. So let's check this one out first of all. You see that by doing that, it has closed this gap. Can you see the space here has been removed? Because this particular paragraph and the second one has the same style. Okay? They have same style, and you need to understand that. So that's why it's closing that gap. But I can remove it now so that it goes back to normal. So this is how it works. So I'm sure you've learned something about that. I've talked about this earlier, and I'm sure by now you are now better, using that particular tool. So we're going to move on And the next thing I want to teach you is how to change your paper size. You know, we have different types of paper. I mean, different sizes of paper. And right now we're going to look at them. So to change your paper size, how do you achieve that? So you're going to go to your layout tab. Now when you come to layout tab, you come to the page setup group. Can you see them? So we're going to be making use of this particular one, which is size. So, and you have to click the drop down button there. So here we have letter, we have A4. You know, the most used paper is A4 and letter. Okay? The most used sizes are A4 and letter. So you need to understand that. I hope you're getting it. So now that doesn't mean that we cannot have more paper sizes. How do you get more paper sizes? You go to more paper sizes. Then you're going to come to this particular section. Can you see that? So here you can have custom size. And when you say custom size, you can increase the width and the height. If you check your A4 paper, this is the width and this is the height. If you check your letter, this is the width and this is the height. So when you now say custom, it means you don't want to use this. You want to increase it. They are in inches. You know, I've said it earlier that the unit of measurement here is inches. You can change it from the word option to whatever unit of measurement you desire. I taught you how to do that in one of the previous videos. So you can watch that to do that again. But the one we have chosen for this application is inches. So this is 8.5 inches for the width, 11 inches for the height. That's letter. But if you choose A4, it's different. And if you check the preview, you see that it will be changing. Let me change it back to be watching that side. See letter? You see that it's wider than A4. Do you understand? Letter is wider. So by the stuff, you see that this is 8.2, the other one is 8.5. That's the width. But height is 11.69. But for letter, you see that it's 11. So A4 is longer than letter, while letter is wider than A4. So you can decide to use custom. You will now be the one to type in the measurement in these two columns. So you'll be the one to supply these two parameters. So that's that about that. So now under this same paper, if you come to paper source, you see first page, default tray, automatically select. That's the ideal choice that you should go for. Default tray is what you're supposed to use. Okay, so this is the preview. Now this particular paper size that you have chosen, what do you want to apply it to? Is it the whole document or from this point forward? Now you could have a document that has maybe like 10 pages, but page 1 has a different size. Now you get to page 2. Maybe the page 1 has, let's say page 1 has letters paper size. Now when you get to page 2, you are now trying to set it up. So if you now choose A4 while you're on page 2, sorry for that. So when you're on page 2, so you could decide to change it to another paper size. You could change it to A4 paper size. You get what I'm saying? But you now come to apply to and say from this point forward. So from that point, your paper size will change. So these are things that you need to understand. I hope you're getting it. And when you're done with that, so this one, I want it to be applied to the entire document because I want everything to be A4. So I'm going to make that choice, apply it to whole document, and I want A4 paper size. And the next thing I'm going to do is to click OK. And that would be applied to the document. Now, before I leave this place, I also want you to look at the margins. If you look at this place, you see margins, all right? And you see the paper size. So the extension for this size is what you're looking at here. The extension for these margins is what you're looking at here. So if you come to margins now, look at it. So you see that here you can now set up your margin. Top is 1 inch. So it means the space between here and this place is 1. Left, the space between here and here is 1. Bottom, the margin, the bottom margin is 1 inch. Then the right is 1 inch. You understand? So these are things that you need to know very, very well. Okay? So the gutter position currently is left. If you want to make it top, you can make it top, depending on whatever you want. So these are things that you need to know. Then orientation, you have portrait, you have landscape. If you say portrait, it means the height will be longer than the width. But if you say landscape, look at it. The width will be longer than the height. I hope that is clear. So you are going to now determine how you want the orientation of your paper to be. And that will be dependent on what you want to achieve. So if you have a document that is very wide, but it's not very long in terms of height, so the kind of paper that will suit that will be landscape. But if you have a document that is very high in terms of length and things like that, but the width is very small and all that, then you use portrait. Do you understand? So these are things that you need to master very well. Then multiple pages, you use normal. Now you also have mirror margins. You have 2 pages per sheet. That's if you want 2 pages to be to be on a sheet. You can do that. You can have a book fold and all that. So, but always choose normal for a normal working condition. So you should understand that. So what do you want to apply these settings to? Is it to the whole document or from this point forward, just like we did under paper? So it's your choice depending on what you want to achieve. Do you understand that now? So these are things that you need to understand. I hope you're getting it. Now this set as default means, do you want to set these settings? Do you want to make these settings your default? So that anytime you open Microsoft Word, this is the settings that will come with it. Do you also want to make your paper size A4 the default, so that anytime you open your Microsoft Word application, the default paper size that you have on it will be A4. So if you want that, you do set as default. Most times what you have as default is letter, not A4. So if you want to make A4 your default size, you set it as default. So henceforth, when you open that, this is what you're going to have, the A4. So I'm sure you've learned something from here now. So you know how to set up your paper. So on the normal ground, before you start working at all, this is what you're supposed to do first. So when you open your Microsoft Word application, the first thing to do is to set up that page. So you set the margins. How do you want your margins to look like? You set your paper up, and you get what I'm saying. So there's also layout here. That is like extra settings that you need to do. Okay, if you have sections, if you have headers and footers and all that, and you want to determine where you want them to be. So, you could have a section within a document, different sections. This is a section, this is another section. We're still going to be looking at that later. So you should know that. Headers and footers also will be dealt with. I hope you get what I'm saying. So you can determine the spacing for your header and your footer. Header will be somewhere around here. Footer will be somewhere around, the bottom of this page. So what is header and footer? Some people want to customize their work by, adding some extra details on top of it or at the bottom. Or they may want to put the logo of their company on it and all that, or they want dates and all that to show, or maybe page number and all that. So these are things that you can achieve with this. So with this one, you are giving instruction to this application that the header should be between this particular place. This is 1.0 now. So if you say header 0.5, it means it's going to start somewhere around here, because this is the middle between here and here. Do you understand? So that means your header will occupy this space here. Do you understand? So the same thing for the footer, which is going to be at the bottom. I hope you're getting it. So these are things that you need to understand. So how do you want your page to align? Vertical alignment, you want it to be top, you want it to be center, you want it to be, justified, or bottom. You can choose that. So whichever one you want. If you say center, you're going to have it like that. If you say justified, you're going to have it justified. I've talked about this earlier. Okay, so these are things that you need to know. Okay, so the same thing we did the other time. Do you want to apply it to the entire document? It's your choice, or you want it from this point forward. So make those choices as it will suit you. So that's that about that. So when you're done with all these settings, you check them one after the other. Oh, they are okay. A4 is what I want, and I imagine is 1111. That is what I want. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to say okay. So if you look at it now, something changed. See that the settings changed. The paper changed. So these are things that you need to know as you learn how to work. I hope you're getting it now. So we're going to move on right away. I want to show you more things that you need to take it to. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to look at now is how to insert special characters. How to insert special characters. So how do you do that? So to insert special characters, you need to go back to your home tab. Sorry, to your insert tab, not home. Okay, insert. Then you come to the symbols. Can you see symbols group? There you have equation, then you have symbols. So if you need to add some equations, this is where you're going to add them. And if you have a new equation that you want to add, you can use insert new equation. If you want equations from office.com, you have to be connected to the internet for you to access this. So these are things that you can actually do. I hope you get what I'm saying. So it's not something difficult. So you can try them out. You can select any of these. If you select any of these now, it's going to come into your work. As you can see, it's here now. Okay. So I can move it to wherever I want it to be. As you can see, I've moved it to the end of this work. So you can drag it to wherever you want. And if you want to edit it, you can. Maybe it's not A that you want to be there. You click there, then you change it. If you want B, you change it to B, or probably you want to change the entire equation. You can change everything. You understand what I'm saying? So these are things that you can achieve with that. I hope you're getting it. So as you can see, you can save as new equation, professional linear, change to display and all that. So, and if you don't want it again, you select it by clicking here and you press delete key on your keyboard to delete it. So you can also come to the same symbol. Sorry, you go back to insert symbol. These are special characters. You come to more symbol to see all of them. Look at them, symbols. These are special characters that you can have here, as you can see them. So you can make, a selection of any of these that you want. If you come to font, when you change it, this is the normal text. Look at them. Look at all the things you have there. If you're looking for any of them, you can find them here. Okay. So you need to understand that. If you come to this place, you can change them and you begin to have different things, coming up and all that. You understand? To change the font for you and all that. So if you change it to another thing, to another font, it's going to change the way they look again. So these are things that you must understand. All right? So if you want other subsets, apart from all these ones that you're seeing, you can go to this place. Maybe you can select IPA extension. It's going to change the symbols and, the special characters completely. Look at it. It will change the symbols completely. Okay? You begin to see different things coming up. Okay? Or take you to the section where that thing is. All right? Look at it now. So these are things that you can achieve. So on your keyboard, you can't find things like this. But when you come to symbols, you find them there. Do you understand? That's the whole essence of the symbol. So you can insert. So now, how do you now insert your symbol? Let me cancel it. The first thing you need to do, let's say I want copyright symbol to be somewhere around here before you. All I need to do is to click there, then go to symbol, go to more symbols, then come to pick it, then insert. So I can close and you're going to see it there. So if you don't want it again, you can delete it by using your backspace key or your delete key to take it out. Do you understand? So that's the way it works. So it's nothing, too special. So, but, if you don't know how to use it, you don't know. So that's how to make use of that. And the final one I want to talk about is how to insert date. Let's say I want to insert date around here. Okay, here. All I need to do is to come to insert, still under insert tab. You come to the text group. Then you see date and time here. You click it. Under date and time, you have the available formats here. Look at them. So you can choose anyone. I prefer this. So language is English, United States, because I chose that from the beginning of the installation of these Windows. All right. So, and I chose that for the application as well. So I have United States. Now, I'm choosing this date to appear where I clicked. Now, this particular option, update automatically. If you choose this, every time you open that document, the current date is what is going to be there. Do you understand? That's the difference. But if I remove this and I put this date, every time I open that document, it is this particular date, the day that I inserted that date. That's the date that you're going to have there. I hope you're getting it now. But if you say update automatically, it means every time you open that document, it should come with the current date. So you need to get that right. So you have to make a choice which one you want, depending on what you're working on. So that's that about that. So I'm going to say okay because I want it updated. So I'll say okay. So look at the date now showing here. Now look at the date showing here. You see that there's an error there. You'll be wondering, why is it appearing like this? Don't forget that I clicked where I have a text that is having a strike through. So that formatting affected what I inserted. Okay, so if I don't want that, I can undo. So let me click back. So it was affected by this. Okay, so let's check home to see what is there. See where my insertion point is. Look at strike through. You see that it's still on. So if I don't want it to show, I will put it off now. So it's off. So if I go back now to insert and insert the date, I won't have that experience again. So let me choose it now. Update automatically, then okay. As you can see now, look at it. So you can see that it's okay. And you know, if you point to it, if you want to update it, you can update to the current date. So anytime you open it, you can do that. So that's how date and time works, you know, if you want to insert it on your document. So that's the way it is. So this is where I'm going to stop in this video, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Thank you.